Good morning. I am Rubina. Today is Wednesday, October 7th, 2020. Armenia ready for mutual concessions with Azerbaijan. Live News PM Nikol Pashinyan says his country could make concessions over Nagorno-Karabakh if Azerbaijan would do the same. Armenia is ready to make concessions in its conflict with Azerbaijan over Nagorno-Karabakh, Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan said Tuesday, but only if Baku is willing to do the same. Conflicts need to be resolved on the basis of mutual concessions, Pashinyan told the AFP news agency in an interview in Yerevan. Nagorno-Karabakh is ready, and Armenia is ready, to mirror the concessions that Azerbaijan is ready to make. Russia, Iran concerned about risk of foreign fighters in Nagorno-Karabakh. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and his Iranian counterpart Mohammad Javad Zarif expressed concern over the potential involvement of Syrian and Libyan fighters in the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict, Russia's foreign ministry said. During their phone call, their second since Friday, the ministers also expressed serious concern about the unprecedented escalation around the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict, the ministry said. Turkey's alliance with Azerbaijan could impact ceasefire talks, expert. Azerbaijan's key ally Turkey could help bring start negotiations on a ceasefire, King's College professor Damidillis Agramoso told Al Jazeera from London amid Turkish foreign minister's visit to Azerbaijan. I hope this is going to be a conversation where the decision is to try and stop the violence and reduce the intensity of the conflict, she said, noting that the Turkish position has been very much in support of Azerbaijan military situation. Sagramoso hoped Turkey would exert some type of pressure on Baku and President Ilham Aliyev to push for negotiations on a ceasefire, and the doors are open for some meaningful talks about the future of the region. I think the situation is extremely dangerous and volatile, and this war could go on and on, Sagramoso added. Speaking during a visit to the Azeri capital Baku, Cavusoglu said a ceasefire alone would not be sufficient to end the fighting. 14:53 GMT. Bombing resumes in Nagorno-Karabakh city. Fighting in Nagorno-Karabakh's main city of Stepanakert has resumed after a period of calm on Tuesday, Al Jazeera's Bernard Smith reported from Gors, Armenia. While Stepanakert was relatively quiet today, we understand that early this evening bombardment has started again, he said. Stepanakert was heavily bombarded on Monday, and we now know that Prime Minister of Armenia Nikol Pashinyan was there at the time, Smith revealed, adding the Armenian leader was visiting the president of Nagorno-Karabakh and the military there. UK, Canada renew call ceasefire. Urged dialogue. Britain and Canada said there was an urgent need to stop military action in and around Nagorno-Karabakh and called for all parties to return to the negotiating table. Canada and the United Kingdom reiterate the urgent need to end the continuing military action in and around the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict zone. Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab and Canadian Foreign Minister Philippe Champagne said, "We are particularly concerned by reports of the shelling of civilian areas and wish to express our condolences to the families of those who have tragically lost their lives." Turkey criticizes ceasefire efforts to end Nagorno-Karabakh conflict. Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu criticized international efforts to tackle the Azeri-Armenian conflict over the Nagorno-Karabakh region, saying they had achieved nothing in nearly 30 years. Speaking during a visit to the Azeri capital Baku on Tuesday, Cavusoglu said a ceasefire alone would not be sufficient to end the fighting. We look at the calls coming from around the world, and it's immediate ceasefire. What then? There was a ceasefire until now, but what happened? Cavusoglu said in comments broadcast on Turkish television. Armenian assaults on civilian targets, sign of desperation. Armenia's attacks on civilian settlements in Azerbaijan are not only a crime against humanity, but also a sign of the desperation that the country fell into, said Turkey's foreign minister. We will continue to support the territorial integrity of Azerbaijan, just as we did with Georgia, Ukraine, Syria, and Iraq's territorial integrity, Mevlut Cavusoglu told a joint press conference with his Azerbaijani counterpart in Baku, Azerbaijan's capital. Cavusoglu also criticized the Minsk group's neutral stance on the conflict. Turkey's FM arrives in Baku. Turkey's Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu arrived in Baku, where he is scheduled to meet Azerbaijan's President Ilham Aliyev. The trip comes as Armenia accused Azerbaijan of firing missiles into the capital of Nagorno-Karabakh on Monday, while Azerbaijan said several of its towns and its second-largest city were attacked. Nagorno-Karabakh's 21 more servicemen killed in fighting with Azerbaijan. Ethnic Armenian officials in the enclave of Nagorno-Karabakh said that 21 more servicemen had been killed in fighting with Azerbaijan, bringing its total military death toll to 244 since war broke out. After the calls of the international community to immediately stop military actions in the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict zone, the line of conflict was relatively calm, Armenian Defense Ministry spokeswoman Shushan Stepanyan said. Armenia's foreign ministry issued a new call for an immediate ceasefire and said that any attempt of military solution will be resolutely prevented. Ceasefire appeals by the United States, Russia, and France have been ignored. The three countries have for years led mediation efforts in a conflict that broke out as the Soviet Union collapsed. It killed about 30,000 people. Iran concerned about regional war. Iran is concerned that the potential involvement of several foreign fighters in the conflict over the contested region of Nagorno-Karabakh could lead to a regional war. President Hassan Rouhani has told his Azerbaijani counterpart. The security, stability, and calm in the region, especially in Iran's northern borders, is extremely important to us, Rouhani told Ilham Aliyev in a phone call. This conflict and persistence of order insecurity must not create the grounds for infiltration of terrorist groups, he was quoted as saying by the president's website. Rouhani also told Aliyev Iran continues to be ready for conflict resolution through holding talks based on international laws and respect for the territorial integrity of Azerbaijan. Aliyev reportedly welcomed Iran's stance, saying Azerbaijan appreciates Iranian concerns over regional instability. Iran's security is Azerbaijan's security, he was quoted as saying. We will not allow this conflict to create insecurity in neighboring countries. Armenia confident Russia will defend it if necessary. PM. Armenia's Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan said Tuesday that he was sure Russia would come to its defense if necessary in its conflict with Azerbaijan over Nagorno-Karabakh. In case of a security threat to Armenia, Russia's engagement will be subject to our treaty framework, Pashinyan told AFP news agency in an interview in Yerevan. I am confident that as per the situation, Russia will uphold its treaty obligations. Russia, Iran concerned about risk of foreign fighters in Nagorno-Karabakh. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and his Iranian counterpart Mohammad Javad Zarif expressed concern over the potential involvement of Syrian and Libyan fighters in the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict, Russia's foreign ministry said. During their phone call, their second since Friday, the ministers also expressed serious concern about the unprecedented escalation around the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict, the ministry said. Thanks for watching TV Kabar News Studio.